The Crystal Forest, a story of beauty, greed, and bad decisions.
The twin suns burn copper and green. The prettiest world you've ever seen. But prettier things will make you scream and turn your bones to a jeweled dream. Crystal forest, diamond tree, come and stay forever with me. Your eyes will move, your heart will freeze, and you'll beg for death on your crystal knees. She picked a stone of violet bright. She thought it was a fortune's light. Now she stands with frozen screen, a ruby vein in a diamond dream. Crystal forest, diamond tree, come and stay forever with me. Your eyes will move, your heart will freeze, and you'll beg for death on your crystal knees. They wanted wealth, they wanted eternity. They received both greed. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. 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 It's not good. It's not good.
Prologue: The Tomb. December 21, 87, Mars orbit. The P's 1871 hung silent in Mars orbit like a tomb drifting through space. No lights, no signals, no heat signatures that made sense. Just a dark hull, a frozen silhouette against the stars, and the faint, almost imperceptible gleam of something inside. John Fowley's voice came over the comms, tight and uneasy. "Sir, the outer airlock is open. Still no life signs whatsoever. The ship is cold, colder than it should be. And there's something glittering on the hull, just a little. Like frost." Commander Tuomer's reply was sharp. "The sleep monitors must have failed completely. Seal the lock behind you and activate life support. Keep your helmet sealed until we know what we're dealing with. Do not touch anything that glitters." Fowley stepped through the hatch into the dead ship. His boots made no sound on the deck plating. The corridors were eerily pristine, seats perfectly secured, tools stowed, control panels dark but undamaged. It looked as if the crew had simply stepped out for coffee and never returned. "Commander Solvin was always a stickler for order," Fowley muttered, "but this is unnatural. It's like they just vanished." Solvin was. "You haven't met Tarujin yet. Activate life support." Fowley did. The ship groaned awake as oxygen flooded the corridors, but the air smelled wrong. Not stale, not chemical, sweet. Like flowers left too long in stagnant water. like something living that had no right to be there. I'm heading to the cryochamber. The heavy armored door hissed open. Fowley stopped cold. Sir, how many crew were aboard? 7. Fowley counted the active tanks. I see 5, all occupied. Tuomer's voice was sharp. 5, where are the other 2? Fowley checked the logs. His hands trembled. The screen flickered, corrupted data, fragmented files, but enough to understand. They never returned from the surface, sir. Commander Solvin and Chief Geologist Valendraua. They're still down there, according to the logs. They were crystallized, turned into statues. Silent, and the 5 in the tanks. Fowley stepped closer to the frosted glass. Inside each chamber, a figure floated in suspension but not sleeping. Their faces were frozen mid-scream, mouths open, eyes wide. Their skin had turned to diamond, ruby, and emerald. Veins of quartz ran through what had once been flesh. They were perfect. They were beautiful. They were horrifying. They're dead, sir. Every single one crystallized, but their chambers are still sealed. Someone put them there, hoping. Hoping for what? A cure, a miracle, anything. Fowley stared at the 5 statues. One of them, Tarujan, he realized, had his hand pressed against the inside of the glass as if reaching for something, or warning someone. Sir, there's something else. The cargo hold. The logs show multiple crystal samples, dozens of them. Brought aboard by the automated probe before the landing. They're still there, sealed, isolated, but the containers. The logs say they're warm. They shouldn't be warm. The crystal in the cargo hold pulsed. Fowley did not see it, but he felt something. A prickling at the back of his neck. A whisper at the edge of his hearing. He turned. No one was there. He turned back to the cryochambers. The 5 statues stared at him with frozen, aware eyes. Part 1, The Warning. December 21, 87. Central Space Commission, Earth. The council chamber was deathly quiet as the final log recording played. Commander Menar Solvin's voice, raw and broken, filled the room. Personal log, Ps 1871. We named the planet Shining. It was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. A jewel hanging between 2 suns. We should never have gone down there. A long, shuddering breath. Kretina went first. She brought back a violet crystal the size of her fist. It felt warm, alive. She laughed and said it was the purest rubidium she'd ever seen. Then she started screaming. Her skin turned translucent. Her veins became threads of quartz. Within minutes she was glass, still conscious, still aware. I watched her eyes move inside the crystal, begging me to help her. The voice cracked. We don't know what causes it. Radiation, maybe, or something else. The crystals are everywhere on the surface, in the cargo hold, maybe in the air. I've ordered the ship into full quarantine orbit. Told Tarujan to burn us if we try to return. God forgive me. I left her there. The Speaker of the Council turned to the science advisor. Radiation. The advisor shrugged. It's the only explanation that fits, sir. The crystals must emit some kind of unknown energy. The crew's logs mention warmth, pulsing, dreams. That could be radiation sickness. We've seen similar cases. The speaker nodded. Then we warn future missions. Avoid the Shining System. No one goes there again. Class 1 Forbidden Zone. Any ship that approaches within 1 astronomical unit is to be destroyed without warning. He looked out over the assembled faces. May God have mercy on their souls. No one mentioned the violet crystals specifically. No one marked them as dangerous. No one knew that they were the heart of the infection, faster, hungrier, more alive than the others. The log was filed under unknown radiation event. The warning was generic. The truth was buried. Part 2, the infection. Before the landing. June 2187. Aboard the Pease 1871, en route to Shining. Tarujin stood before the science console. His face was pale. "Commander, I'm reading multiple crystal samples in the cargo hold. They were brought up by the automated probe, the one we sent down to the surface before the landing. Dozens of samples, all colors, including several violet ones, pure rubidium according to the initial analysis." Solvin's voice was sharp. "Are they contained?" "Yes, sir, isolated, sealed. The science team said they're safe. They found no anomalies, no radiation, no toxins, nothing." A pause. "Then why do you look like that?" Tarujin stared at the readouts. "Because the containers, they're warm, Commander. They shouldn't be warm. The temperature in the cargo hold is near freezing, but these containers, they're holding steady at human body temperature, as if they're alive." The crystals pulsed in the cargo hold. They had been waiting. Now they were home. The landing. August 2187, planet Shining. The twin suns burned copper and emerald above a world that should not have existed. Commander Menar Solvin and Chief Geologist Kritina Valendraua stepped out of the shuttle onto ground that glittered like a shattered chandelier. Everywhere they looked, crystals rose in impossible formations, trees of pure diamond, bushes of emerald, grass of sapphire. The light fractured into rainbows so intense they hurt the eyes, so beautiful they made your heart ache. Kritina knelt. She did not pick up a crystal, she already knew them. She had seen them in the data logs from the probe, held them in her hands through the screen. She had dreamed about them. "Commander, the samples we brought up, they were just like these, the violet ones. They felt warm in the containers. They pulsed. I thought it was my imagination. But now I can feel them, even from here. They're calling." Solvin frowned. "Calling, Kritina, that's not scientific." "I know," she whispered, "but it's true." She turned her head toward the shuttle. For a moment she thought she saw something, a violet glow, deep inside the cargo hold. Then she felt it, a presence. Old, hungry, patient. Then she screamed, not because she touched a crystal, because the crystal already knew her. Her glove dissolved. The violet ones, the ones still in the cargo hold light years away, or the ones beneath her feet, reached through her mind. They did not need touch. They needed connection. And Kritina had connected weeks ago, when she first saw the data logs, when she first dreamed of the forest. Solvin lunged forward, but it was already too late. Kritina's hand turned translucent. Veins of quartz raced up her arm like frost on glass. Her skin hardened into faceted crystal, first her fingers, then her wrist, then her elbow. Her eyes, still human, still aware, widened in pure, animal terror as the transformation swallowed her. She tried to speak. Only a faint, ringing sound came out, like a wet finger sliding across crystal glass. Solvin backed away in horror. "Kritina, no." She took one staggering step toward him, then froze mid-motion, a perfect, screaming statue of living crystal. Her hair had become strands of fine sapphire. Her tears had become diamonds. Her last breath hung in the air as a cloud of sparkling dust. Solvin stared at what had been his geologist. Then he felt the first cold prickling in his own fingertips. The quarantine. August 2187. Aboard the Pease 1871, emergency meeting. "Stephen," Solvin whispered into the comm, his voice shaking, "full quarantine protocol, Alpha Spare. No one leaves this ship. No one comes aboard. Burn us if you have to. Do you understand?" Tarujin's voice was calm, but the fear was clear. Understood, Commander. What about Kretina? Solvin looked at the crystal statue standing in the glittering forest. The twin suns reflected off her faceted skin, casting rainbows across the ground. She's already gone. The Last Stand. August 2187. On the surface, Solvin's final hour. Solvin stumbled backward, his breath loud and ragged inside his helmet. The cold was spreading not from outside but from within. It started in his fingertips, a deep, unnatural chill that felt like liquid nitrogen flowing through his veins. He stared at his right hand. The skin was already turning translucent, veins hardening into delicate threads of quartz. No, 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 no. He ripped off the glove. The crystal was advancing visibly, crawling up his wrist like frost on glass. Where it touched, his flesh hardened into perfect, glittering facets. He could still feel everything. Every nerve ending was screaming. Kretina's statue stood only a few meters away, her eyes, still horribly alive, locked onto him in eternal, silent agony. A single crystallized tear hung on her cheek like a diamond. Solvin fell to his knees. The ground beneath him was carpeted with tiny crystals, sharp, beautiful, hungry. They clung to his suit like burrs. He could feel them trying to push through the fabric, searching for skin. "Stephen," he shouted into the calm. "Stephen, do you read me?" Tarujan's voice came back, distorted by static. "Commander, your biosigns are going wild. Heart rate 180, core temperature dropping fast. What's happening down there?" "It's the crystals. They're alive. I don't know how Kretina is. She's gone, turned into a statue, still conscious, still screaming inside it." A long silence. "Stephen, listen to me very carefully. Do not send anyone down. Burn the shuttle if you have to. Put the ship into full quarantine. If I try to come back, you shoot me down. Do you understand?" "Commander, I can't." "You will," Solvin snarled, his voice breaking. "That's an order. If you ever respected me, you will follow this order." He looked down at his arm. The crystal had reached his elbow. The pain was beyond anything he had ever imagined, cold fire that burned and froze at the same time. He could feel his bones turning to quartz, cracking and reforming inside his flesh. He screamed. The scream echoed across the crystal forest, ringing like 1,000 bells. The transformation. August 2187. On the surface, the final moment. Solvin dragged himself forward on one good arm, leaving a trail of glittering dust behind him. His legs were almost completely crystallized now. Each movement produced a faint ringing sound, like wind chimes made of bone. The pain had moved past agony into something almost transcendent. He reached Kretina's statue. Up close, he could see every detail, the frozen scream, the terror in her eyes, the way her hair had turned into strands of fine sapphire. He pressed his still human hand against her crystal cheek. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I should have listened to you. I should have turned the ship around the moment we saw this cursed place. I was greedy." "We both were." Kretina's eyes, the only part of her still truly alive, filled with something like forgiveness. Then the crystal reached Solvin's neck. He felt it crawl up his throat, into his mouth, across his tongue. His last breath came out as a cloud of sparkling dust. His final thought was strangely peaceful. So this is what eternity feels like. The crystal claimed him completely. Two perfect statues now stood side by side in the glittering forest, a man and a woman, forever frozen in a moment of horror and reluctant understanding. The return voyage. August 2187. Aboard the Pease 1871, departure. Tarujan stared at the viewscreen. Two crystal figures stood motionless among the diamond trees. The twin suns cast long shadows across the glittering ground. "Set course for Mars," he said quietly. "All crew to cryostase. We'll sleep until we're home. We'll wake up and we'll figure out what happened. We'll find a cure. We'll go back for them." He did not believe it, but he had to say it. One by one, the 5 remaining crew members entered their cryochambers. They sealed themselves in. They closed their eyes. They dreamed of crystal forests. They did not know that the crystals were already inside them, microscopic particles in the air, in the water, in their lungs. They had been there for months since the first probe. They had been waiting. The cold did not stop them. The cold only made them slower. October 2187, the long silence. The ship drifted through the black. Inside the cryochambers, the 5 crew members transformed slowly, silently, without screams. The process took weeks. First, their fingertips turned translucent, then their hands, then their arms. Their hearts kept beating, the crystals needed living hosts. Their minds kept dreaming, the crystals fed on consciousness. Tarujin dreamed of Kratina. He saw her standing in the crystal forest, reaching out to him. Her mouth moved, but no sound came out. Only a faint, ringing whisper. "Join us, Stephen. It's beautiful here. It's eternal." He tried to wake up. He couldn't. The others dreamed similar dreams of violet light, of diamond trees, of a hunger that had no end. Some screamed inside their chambers. No one heard them. When the ship reached Mars orbit, they were no longer human. They were perfect, glittering statues, still aware, still conscious, still waiting. The discovery. December 2187, Mars orbit, Fowley's arrival. Fowley found them. 5 crystal statues in 5 cryochambers, their faces frozen mid-scream, their hands pressed against the glass. Their eyes, still horribly alive, followed him as he moved through the chamber. He did not understand what he was seeing. He logged it as unknown crystalline transformation, cause unknown, possibly radiation, all hands lost. He did not see the violet crystals in the cargo hold. He did not feel them pulsing. He did not know that he was already breathing their dust, microscopic particles that had clung to his suit when he entered the ship, that would find his skin when he slept, that would grow inside him like frost on a window. He filed his report. He went home. He tried to forget, but the crystals remembered him. The colors of death. Solvin, in his final moments of human thought, had understood something. He had written it in a fragmented log entry, never sent. "I understand the colors now. Red is the iron in the blood. Green is the copper in the nerves. Blue is the calcium in the bones. And violet is the rubidium in the greed. Every one of us carries their own color inside. Every one of us will become their own gemstone." The log was corrupted. No one read it, but the crystals knew. Part 3, the verdict. December 2187, Central Space Commission, Earth. The grand hearing chamber was packed. Company executives sat in the front row, faces stiff with barely hidden frustration. Billions had been invested in the Shining mission. They had expected mountains of rubidium, unimaginable profit, a new era of wealth. They got nothing. Just a dead ship and 7 crystal statues. The speaker of the council rose, his voice heavy with condemnation. "After reviewing all logs and transmissions, the commission has reached its conclusion. The disaster aboard the Ps 1871 was caused by unknown radiation from the Shining system. The planet is now declared a permanent Class 1 forbidden zone. Any ship that approaches within 1 astronomical unit will be destroyed without warning." He looked out over the assembled faces. May God have mercy on their souls, and may we never again let greed open doors that should remain closed. No one mentioned the violet crystals. No one marked them as dangerous. No one knew that they were the real cause because the crew had not known. They had guessed radiation. They had been wrong. The warning was generic. The truth was buried, and the crystals continued to pulse. The Commission's decision was unanimous. The Ps 1871 would not be allowed to remain in orbit. It would not be brought down for study. It would be destroyed completely, irrevocably, in the most final way possible. Set a course for the sun, the speaker ordered. Full burn, no fragments, no debris, no risk. In the command center on Earth, flight controllers worked in tense silence. The ship's engines fired one last time. The Ps 1871 began its long spiral toward the sun, a funeral pyre for 7 souls, a cremation for a crystal forest. On the main view screen, the ship grew smaller, dimmer, finally vanishing into the glare of the star that had given humanity life. "It's over," someone whispered. A technician, a politician. No one remembered who. The speaker allowed himself a small smile. "We did the right thing." No one disagreed. No one knew about the small violet crystal on John Fowley's windowsill. The Commission celebrated. The danger was gone. They had saved humanity not with courage but with caution. The ship was ash in the sun. The crystals were vapor. They did not know that one crystal had never left. They did not know that John Fowley had taken a souvenir. They did not know that the hunger had already found a new home on a windowsill in Berlin, in a quiet apartment, in the hands of a cleaning lady who thought it was pretty. The sun had eaten the ship, but the crystal was patient. It had all the time in the universe. Epilogue: The Last Crystal. January 21, 88, Berlin, Earth. John Fowley was not a bad man. He was curious. And curious people sometimes make dangerous choices not out of greed but out of a desire to understand. He had taken the violet crystal from the cargo hold asterisk before the ship was sent into the sun. He had logged it as destroyed with the vessel. He had lied a small lie, a harmless lie, he told himself. He kept it on his windowsill where the morning light could catch it. He studied it. He talked to it. He dreamed of crystal forests, of diamond trees and ruby grass, of 2 statues standing side by side, of a voice whispering his name. For weeks nothing happened. He almost forgot about it. Then one morning he did not wake up. His body had crystallized overnight, silently, peacefully, without a scream. His hand rested on the crystal. His eyes were open. His lips were frozen in a small, regretful smile. He had been waiting, not for death, for understanding. And in the end he found it. March 21, 88, Berlin, Earth. Mrs. Gunter hummed as she climbed the stairs to John Fowley's apartment, cleaning bucket in hand. It was Monday morning again. The same routine, the same stairs, the same key in the lock. She knocked firmly. "Mr. Fowley, it's Mrs. Gunter. Open up, please." No answer. After several attempts, she used her master key and entered. The apartment was quiet, too quiet. A half-drunk cup of coffee stood cold on the table. On the windowsill, catching the morning light, lay a small, beautiful violet crystal. It sparkled with inner fire, tiny rainbows dancing inside its facets. Mrs. Gunter smiled. "Oh, how lovely. Did you bring this back from one of your trips, Mr. Fowley? Must be worth a fortune." She picked it up. It was warm, very warm. For a moment she admired the tiny rainbows. Then she felt the first delicate prickling in her fingertips. Strange, it tingles. The crystal pulsed softly. Somewhere deep in her mind, a gentle voice whispered, "Welcome." She tried to drop it, but her fingers would not obey. The warmth spread up her arm like liquid sunlight, slow, gentle, almost pleasant. "Mr. Fowley." Her voice rang like delicate glass. In the bedroom, John Fowley sat motionless on the edge of his bed, a flawless, glittering statue of living crystal. His eyes, still aware, stared straight ahead. A single frozen tear sparkled on his cheek. He had been waiting. Now he was no longer alone. Deep space near the orbit of Mars. The Ps 1871 fell silently toward the sun on its final journey. Inside the cryochamber stood 5 perfect crystal statues. In the cargo hold, carefully sealed in a reinforced container that had been overlooked in the panic, several violet crystals pulsed slowly, patiently. They had all the time in the universe. Final transmission, intercepted years later. A faint signal still drifts through the outer darkness, repeating endlessly. We wanted wealth. We wanted eternity. We received both. Greed is not good. Greed is not good. Greed is not good. And on the crystal world called Shining, 2 perfect statues stand forever among the diamond trees, a man and a woman, smiling with frozen, regretful mouths. They finally understood the price. They have all the time in the universe to pay it. The end. But the crystals never stop pulsing. And somewhere, Mrs. Gunter is still screaming silently behind her diamond smile.